Good morning, Team Laura. So a couple of reminders for today. First off, I was going to do a video up in 9th Street in the tower, or 9th floor in the tower, but actually they're very quiet and there's no real space to not interrupt anyone. So I decided just to say, hey, go and check it out. It was actually pretty cool. At first I was very kind of worrisome about the idea of next July us going into this neighborhood idea for desk, especially since I like kind of doing my own thing when it comes to like setting up my desk. I see a lot of other people doing the same thing. Like Deanne likes to give everyone nice little color book things that she does, and I really like having that at my desk, especially like being all colorful. But when I was up there, I don't know how our space, if it's gonna be the 9th floor, will be, but it's very like high tech. It's very nice and modern, but it was very quiet too, and I like that. Sometimes we get really loud in here, and other times we are very quiet. But I like the idea of having not set spaces. Going in the idea of like a neighborhood desk, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about something that I did earlier for my development. We have this thing called Harvard Management Mentor, and on there's I believe 30 some different things you can do. I did one called the career management, and it was talking about a couple things. The first thing that kind of got to me was doing what's called a career lattice and not a career ladder. So a ladder is pretty much just going from point A to all the way up, where a lattice is kind of like a design where you kind of intertwine everything, and sometimes you might go to the side, or you might go up, or you might then go that way. And it's not saying it's a bad thing, but there's a lot of different ideas to it. I really implore you to talk to Laura and get some personal development time, and if that sounds like something for you, go and do it. Another thing that they talked about is discovering your own interest, and then also developing a network of people. Within our area and then many different departments, we have a lot of people who have really good ideas into kind of picking apart things and putting things back together and thinking outside the box, as well as like when I was starting to train initially just on DC and everything, one of my mentors was already tier 5 trained, and so they were going over a lot of different like kind of unique tools to find some information that we weren't taught in training, and that was really useful for me, and I've still utilized him as a person to go to because he still finds things. And I do the same thing when I call helpline, is I ask them, how are you finding this information? That way I know in the future what to look for, or if there's a tool I can use that I haven't thought of before to get the answer for people. A couple other things I want to make sure you guys know. Don't wait until the last minute to change your password. I know some people, I do it. I have at least once or twice, and then it causes a whole bunch of errors. But wait, or do it as soon as you get that notice. Do it, because then everything has to get updated to that new password. So doing it last minute causes errors and then gets you logged out, and it's not fun. Now with the new year, what's going to happen is that your favorite sites, if they're not Passport, are going to go away. So changing your favorite sites to that Passport will be really useful. And kind of, I'm still working on getting used to the Passport. If you find someone who really is good with Passport, let everyone know, because I have trouble. I know other people do have trouble. The search bar helps a lot, but it brings up a lot of information too. So just see if you can get information from anyone else if you're not familiar with it yet. With the hurricanes, Hurricane Florence and Michael, the employer must approve to use the qualified disaster distribution before they send in any information. So if the employer does not approve of it prior to that, we can't process out that withdrawal for them. So make sure that if you're working with someone and either they ask where is my withdrawal status and they haven't talked to anyone, explain that. If you're talking to them in regards to that and see that the plan has not said anything yet, just let them know that this is what they have to do and you haven't heard any otherwise, and then try and work with them and see if there's anything else you can help them with. With the end of the year right now, December 19th was our estimated year-end distribution date. Right now, because we're beyond that, and with the holiday coming up this next week, just make sure to remind people that the correct processing time, so 7 days for withdrawals and 3 to 7 days for distributions, depending on if that life annuity is available, and just making sure they're aware that if they submit it in now, they might not get it by the end of the year. For other people, I've had a few calls where people have asked if they submit it in now, can they get it for the 2019 year? The best thing I feel for people is to inform them is that, because if they submit it in today, the 21st, or anytime next week, they might be one of those lucky people who have that 1 day processing, and then the next day the funds go out and it's in a 2018 tax year, but they don't receive the funds until 2019. So just make sure to let them know that if they want to receive it for a fact in 2019 tax year, to get it in after January 1st. That ensures that it's 2019 tax year. Other things that we want to make sure you know is that there's the holiday timing. So there's a lot of information for this one, sorry guys. But holiday timing is going to be attached in the email. Making sure to put in your time cards. So if you're going to be gone all next week, do your time cards today, for this week and next week. And then you can always do your time cards ahead of time. So I'm going to do mine tonight for this week and next week, even though I'm here Wednesday through Friday, just so I can have it and I don't forget. If you are working the 24th, you're going to note 8 hours worked that day, and then you get the 8 hours floating holiday, and then put the 8 hours for the holiday on the 25th. As well, you want to continue, you want to continue to ensure that your schedules are updated as needed, so including PTO, any system problems, any disconnected calls. I had a day on the 4th this month, and I didn't realize it or find out until, I believe, the 19th, so it was too late to do anything. That I had a system issue that was almost over 20 minutes of time that I thought I had reported but didn't have it happening, and it hurt my adherence that day. So make sure that doesn't happen to you. But you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and or rest of your week, and happy holiday weekend. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.